everyone. Welcome to Stay Centered, our mental wellness check-in each Tuesday. I'm Chrisa, one of your co-hosts, and I'm here with Navah. Welcome to the Ed Asner Family Center show.
I'm sorry, Matt Asner.
I'm cracking around.
I'm never going to have you back as a guest.
I'm an unruly guest.
You're not even on camera, and you're our special guest, and you're
I'm an unruly
here.
guest.
This is great for our topic today because we're going to talk about what's it like to be coupled in quarantine and to be stuck 24/7 with your partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thanks for starting us off well.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I appreciate you guys having me on as a guest
Thank
today.
you. Thank you so much for being with us today, Matt.
Yes.
So,
We're all in our orange.
We're all in our Ed Asner
Center orange.
Family Center orange here, and
Our logos.
so.
Chris is 6 feet apart.
We're 6 feet apart. That's why, on a regular day, I'd be sitting with Navah over there at the desk because I'm so excited to be doing this show with her. This has been a long time in the planning stages, and here we are able to do our wellness show each week. And we've got so many really great shows planned coming up. And our next show will be on Cinco de Mayo. So for today, we want to focus on what's it like to date during the pandemic. And believe me, there are some people out there that are on the internet apps. What's it like for couples and also gay couples as well. There's, your partner, what's happening.
You were looking at me. I didn't know what you were talking about there.
Any partner. A partner is a partner. Love is love. So I think, first of all, thank you everyone for joining us again. Chrisa and I are so excited to be able to support our community. Right now, we have so much going on a mental health level of just chronic stress, chronic insomnia, dealing with loads that we never thought we could deal with and are forced to deal with this with no real end in sight. And I'm hoping that we can all come together as a community and support each other and really be a part and make this a very interactive show. Chris and I are really open to your suggestions, and we're going to have special guests next week, more in the wellness category. So we're excited about that.
And also, if you missed the show live or you know someone that missed the show live and they really want to view it, it's available on our Facebook page. And we got like over 300, 400 views after we did the show. So
Chris and I are almost beating your show. Whoa.
So you can catch it later if you feel like someone really needs to see it. Send them a link to it. And, thanks for supporting us too. So let's get into the dirt.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do all the nitty and gritty.
What do you notice about yourself as a couple at home? What do you think some of your biggest challenges are for you as a couple? Not necessarily as parents, but as a couple.
Well, there's no escape really. So I think that's the most difficult part. I think we don't really annoy each other that much, but I think occasionally it'll creep in, and Navah will say, "I'm going into the backyard. Please leave me alone." And
well, things are much better now that it's sunny.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Things are. I mean, I definitely have that. The weather is a reflection on my moods. And so as it gets warmer, even though our air conditioning broke, so that was a test of the
that was hard.
Oh my
that was
God.
a test
really
of the
hard.
human spirit. Because
and the human body.
For 3 days.
So
We couldn't get someone out because
tensions are high already, and then your
mood goes.
you're boiling hot.
You're edgy.
I get migraines from the heat. But thank God, we're very, very grateful and blessed that we have a pool. So I've been swimming a lot, and it's
so that's self-care.
Definitely my therapy.
You know what you need to do if you're feeling edgy, or you might take it out on your partner. That's one of the things you really have to be mindful of is be kind to yourself and your partner. Really, if you notice that your mood is getting edgy and your blood's boiling and you're feeling like I'm going to take it out on someone, take yourself out of the equation. Go and take a break.
Right.
Go outside. You guys are lucky enough to have an outside. There's some people in apartments.
Yeah.
It might only have just a little balcony or something that they're sharing.
I know some moms who have written me and say, make the excuse of going to the bathroom more than I should because they're in apartments. And what do you do when you're trapped in an apartment with somebody who's driving you crazy 24 hours a day?
But there's also people that go into the bathroom to have privacy and make phone calls.
Yeah.
And just to have some alone time.
Absolutely.
It feels, it's like you can quiet your mind. I had a couple that his girlfriend actually started the quarantine together. It was 4 weeks later. And he's like, Chrisa, how do I tell her she needs to leave and go back to her place without hurting her feelings? Because they were eating together, walking together, watching Netflix together, and he wanted a break.
Did he want to break up, or did he want to just?
He wanted to have at least
have his
6
space
hours of quiet mind. You know, when you know someone's not going to knock at the door, and that he just had the peace of mind for himself, and then he wouldn't mind her coming back for dinner together or watching movies.
That's a hard one because she's going to take it as a rejection.
So we had to work on how would he language that without it being taken personally.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you want that space sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
You really, even a couple, you get in the car, you can go do something, run your errands in the old version of life. But now you're really together 24/7.
Well, it's the ultimate test of a relationship, this quarantine. I mean, it really is.
Yes.
Because you were just kind of forced into this kind of reality that, you know, you're together and that's it, you know.
So one of the things too, though, is to really be in being nicer to each other. Have like, if you feel like an argument's starting to boil, you know what? Notice, really don't pick on the small stuff. Really, is this a big issue right now? You really have to stop yourself before it happens. Do I really need to pick an argument here?
There's no escape. Don't go there because there's no escape. You know.
There can be.
Yeah.
That's where you say, hey, is this really important? Can we table it till later? And especially if you have kids at home, be mindful of not arguing in front of the kids. I do have a couple that waits till the kids go to bed and then they make plans later. Hey, do you mind if we can hang on and not talk about it right now? Maybe take
so the boxing gloves don't come out until
they don't come out right now.
But that takes both parties to agree to that.
Totally.
Because if you're in a situation where you say now's not the time, the kids are around, and the other person is either not hearing you or says continues with their spin, that's the issue. And I think because kids are feeling there's so much uncertainty going on. They're out of their normal routines. They're just, everything's up in the air and there's no end in sight. And then you add in the factor of these kids might be special needs. I think this is the time when we as parents have to, and I'm talking to myself, be a lot less selfish and a lot less, like you say, pick your battles.
Yeah.
Is this the mountain you want to die on? I remember my friend always saying that, because there's so much more at stake with these already really delicate psyches that are dealing with stuff every day that is overwhelming to them. I mean,
one of the things that you want to ask yourself is you start to feel the anger rise up, is you want to say to yourself, really, what's behind the anger here? What am I really feeling?
Yes.
You want to do a self-diagnostic. Am I hungry? The hangry?
Right.
Am I hot? Do I need
the air
a break?
conditioning.
Is my partner, is it really, try not to put, we're all so frustrated and angry. Try not to put it back and take it out on your partner, but to really ask yourself, what's behind it here? You really want to deconstruct what the feeling is. So you can, maybe stop yourself, little pause before it actually happens.
The pause.
I think that's a good thing to do in just everyday life. And this is certainly a great training period for you to kind of get that skill,
yes,
in everyday life.
Yes.
I mean, it's something that I've always had trouble with, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I would say you too. I mean,
I'm innocent.
But one thing I noticed about you guys, which is really wonderful, and this is a next tip as well, is try to interject humor and laughter into your relationship. Laugh at yourself. I mean, it is so crazy right now. Some of the stuff that I've been thinking or not remembering what day it is, or, some of the funny stuff. Be a little bit more lighthearted and laugh.
That is really important. I mean, humor is everything. It really is. I mean, I guess there are points where you don't want to have humor, but I think living life without humor is really a very difficult situation.
Well, everything's so heavy right now.
Yeah.
So you can watch documentaries. You could try not to watch Pandemic on Netflix. Try not to watch
Especially at
watch it.
night.
We
I
watched-
know I forced you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let
I was
you
going to watch it
at
at night, but then we did end up watching it in the morning.
It's
But
the hardest thing to hold in your thoughts before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
But try to just laugh with each other. Couples need to do that more often anyway. I mean, it's life is so stressful right now. I mean, it's really heartbreaking to hear about so many things that have happened, loss of life and things like that. But there's so many beautiful stories as well of good things that are happening out there with people, neighbors, kindness, donations, and all sorts of things like that. People really reaching beyond to help others, not just in the medical profession, but other people, food service, charities that need help, providing services to others, whatever you can do. And whatever you can do as a couple, maybe that's something that you do together.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So we're in the middle of an unknown thing, and I'm sure that people out there, you might believe something, the next person might believe something else.
Mm-hmm.
How do you convey to your children when you're having self-doubt, when you're having doubts about the future or the situation, and you're having trouble processing this place that we've all never been? How do you process that and report to your children that everything's going to be okay?
Without frightening.
Without frightening.
Yeah.
Or yes,
Because
or your partner
might be holding the most
how do
anxiety.
you take that and process it and convey it into a message that your children can take and feel comfortable about?
Well, I have two thoughts on that. And the first one is that you have to really think about the child's cognitive level of functioning. You really want to know what it is that they're going to be able to process. And although you might want to over narrate and discuss many of the details, try to filter, and really less is really better here.
Absolutely.
You want to reassure, coming from your own perspective. You might use yourself in a social story about how you've processed something so that they can understand what you're doing. You can narrate that life is different and then allow your children to grieve. It's okay. You could say it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to grieve. Even adults need to grieve the loss.
Right.
We've all lost something, whether it's our job or our social connections or
our freedom. Yeah.
But events that we loved and that we were looking forward to.
For sure.
Our poker tournament, we're working on that, different events.
Yeah. A lot of our friends have lost really important events that they had.
And so then,
And that's, to me, that's the most frustrating thing about this, is that you're in this kind of zone in January, February. You're in this zone, and you're like, you're moving towards through the first quarter of the year, trying to, and then all of a sudden, wham! Everything gets kind of thrown off the tracks.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for anyone to deal with.
Yes.
But for children, I would imagine it's.
But I think what Chrisa said is so vital. Is that number one, you figure out who it is that you're speaking to, and you really edit down your own narrative. So if you're going to be thinking of this all the time, you have to be able to know that I don't have to give them all the details. Sometimes the more a kid knows,
especially our population, special needs might get stuck on.
Yes, absolutely. I know we had that issue at camp during Camp Ed, where we had an earthquake not too long before camp, and the kids, we were torn because we wanted to do an earthquake run through, but a lot of the parents were like, I finally got my kids to stop perseverating. Did I say that word right? Perseverating on, the negative and oh my gosh, and the fatalist thought of, the earthquake. So
we even had a fire drill.
We had a fire drill, and it was better. The second fire drill was better. But we're in a situation that is so unknown that we really have to be actors in a way and really put up at the front that everything's going to be okay. We always should do that with our kids. I mean, I've always done that. I before I met Matt, I was a single mom with 4 kids, working like a dog, and I had horrible panic disorder. I had panic attacks every day. And to this day, you know, my daughter's a grown woman, 23 years old, and she said, I never knew that was happening
That
to you,
was
mommy.
my question to you. Did you ever say
No.
to your more adult
No,
children,
never.
I'm really struggling today. I'm really
Nope.
having a hard time.
And
So
I think
that's your answer, Matt, too, is like you have to be in the strong position. Also, even in couples, there's one partner that needs to be sometimes more brave than the other, and there's one that might
that's
have
me
more
for sure.
anxiety. So as you could stabilize.
No, I'm
each
saying
other.
that you and I have gotten into it,
Yeah.
like not fisticuffs, but we've gotten into it because
When you're in a
he
spin.
loves to watch the news, and he's continually watching the news,
I like to be
and
informed.
it's really freaks some of our kids out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, no more.
No, and
news.
I think since this has happened, I think I've curtailed watching the news a little bit
Okay.
when the kids are around.
Mhm.
So I'll like turn it on in the morning, just kind of get my fix. But you know, I'm really I feel like I'm out on a boat without an oar when I don't have an outlet to the news, when I don't know
Okay.
what's going on.
So you
So
like
it's
to stay informed.
Very difficult for me not to know what's going on.
Mhm.
I totally understand that the kids don't want to see that. I
Yeah.
get it,
Yeah.
and I have to respect that more.
But then
You know.
that might be your private time. So when
Mhm.
you're as a couple, you know, maybe you're going in the bathroom and shutting the door.
Watching
I don't want
CNN.
to watch the news in the bathroom, but yeah.
But no, if you have a place in your home where you can watch the news and kind of that's your thing, you
Mhm.
might say, hey, I'm going to go take a break for a half hour and check it out. Maybe, click through articles that you want to just read and have some private time. But, with couples, and it's not always a gender role, some people are more stronger and more brave and face adversity in more of a strength position, a calm position. And it's like, Navah, what you were talking about, we were talking about earlier, a fight or flight,
Mhm.
that there's a fight, flight, or freeze. But, it sounds like when you were, single mother with the 4 kids, you were in fight. And,
Mhm.
and in some ways it might have been a detriment to you because you were in a place of panic. But in other ways, it allowed you to become who you are now. And in many ways, you were able to take care of your children and stay strong for them.
Right.
Now looking back on it, you're probably going, I didn't want to do that, but
No,
I did.
and I don't know how I did it, but I
you
think
have awareness for others now.
But I mean, I think each person builds strength from their hardships and from their experiences, and I think the thing that makes this experience so positive, if you can use that word with what's going on, is that we're all in this together. We're all dealing with it together. We're all more empathetic because we're doing something that we've never done before all at once. We're all experiencing this unknown together.
I'm interested in knowing, what some of the people out there who are watching are thinking about this situation.
Couples. What
are you doing?
It?
How are you?
Couples in quarantine.
Couples in quarantine.
What are you guys
That's
doing
awesome.
out there to get through this? So, as a couple, what are you guys doing? Are you playing games? Are you watching TV?
Are you calling your divorce lawyer?
I don't know.
I know people who are.
Yeah.
Send us a
couple.
message in the comments section.
Yeah.
And let us know what you're doing, because I'm interested. I think Navah's interested. And
Yeah.
I'm
I
interested.
think Chris is
Oh,
interested.
for sure.
So let us know what you're doing.
So one of the other things too that might really be helpful for couples is deciding splitting up the chores. That you might be.
What? Excuse me.
One of you might be better at the cooking, or one of you might be better at the organizing of the household.
That would be me.
Okay.
Oh my God. One of you might be a pathological liar.
So really sometimes it might feel like it's
That sounds good on paper, though.
30-70.
And maybe for other couples.
But just start to notice and see if it, give your partner a little nod or a little, elbow. Hey, I feel like I'm doing 70 to 80% here. How do you feel about, taking the trash out? Or, whatever it is. what can you divide up? Oh, we have a question.
No, that's kind of like a statement, a beautiful statement. Oh, you want me to read it?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So one of our listeners, who happens to be a wonderful lady who, God willing, is going to be on the show with us talking about wellness, Shifra Klein says, this is the time that we really needed. And now that the grind has slowed, it's really brought us together and we have reconnected, she and her husband, she's saying. So
I actually agree with that. I think,
well, I think, like you said, this is a test
testament,
of
yeah.
a relationship, to be
Yeah.
honest.
it really is.
Oh, yeah. But also, we have said so many times, God, I can't imagine going through this without you, because this is really scary. It's like being in 9/11 every single day, and that feeling of uncertainty and fear
An
and
extended version of that.
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so thank God, I'm with Maddie and Maddie's with me, and we have each other, and it's scary. And I thank God that we have each other to not feel like we're in it on a daily basis alone. And that I can't, I have so much.
And one of the things I do want to say is just on the heels of that is also be mindful of your friends and colleagues who are single.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say.
And, reach out. And this is a time to also make amends with people. If you feel like sentimental towards someone, or you want to just say, hey, I'm thinking about you, drop a call or an email and reach out to your friends. I have a lot of single women in my practice that are feeling the heaviness of it.
Yes, exactly.
So they are doing some of the dating apps just to have some potential connection out there.
Somebody to talk to.
That might lead to something in the future.
So how does that work? Explain that to me, because
Okay.
how does it?
Because you
No,
you don't know
No.
about that?
I don't know. No, how does it work?
Okay.
I know, like your dating app.
How does that work?
No. What I'm asking is, I know dating apps are all about going out on dates and seeing people and being social.
But it opens up a conversation.
Yeah.
And
so it allows you to kind of really get to know a person through this.
Yeah.
And
so what's happening is there's Bumble, there's Interconnected, or I think there's still plenty of fish. I don't know. I haven't really experienced the dating apps in a while. I think there's Match.com is still out there. So basically people are signing up. J-Date. They're signing up and they're able to just, meet people electronically. And then what's happening is that if you want to really get to know someone further, you might do a Zoom date. You might at least have someone, to kind of flirt with. Have
definitely.
That potential that you're stuck at home. Maybe you put some makeup on and you change your shirt. You're on camera.
You have a glass of wine.
You're having a glass of wine with
your
somebody,
friend,
so,
your new friend virtual. I think that's wonderful.
Potential is eventually, in a few weeks or whenever people start, who knows what we're going to be having in the future. You get out there, maybe you have a social distancing walk in the park with your masks on, and you start small like that, but it really alleviates some of that loneliness.
100%.
So some of my clients are doing that, and they're really getting to know each other a little bit more. Maybe you're having dinner virtually together or something like that. So
I think that actually is a much better way than the dating apps and the dating experiences were just a few months ago, where it was just, people meet and whether they like each other or not, or they're doing something inappropriate that they probably shouldn't be doing. But now you really have to have a deeper connection, really become friends with somebody first. And I think that's, in the end, that's probably a much better connection anyway.
And also provides hope.
Mm-hmm.
So we all want a little piece of hope. And so having that connection with somebody, maybe a few people that you're curious about, or you're just able to reach out and feel a little less alone. Something like that. And then, another thing I do want to mention, we're talking about couples, that here at the center, we're offering telehealth sessions, or if you're shy, phone sessions. But by all means, don't be afraid to reach out and seek professional advice. Please give us a call too, because Matt, did you put my phone number on the screen, or is it? is it up there somewhere? Give us a call if you need couples therapy. You know someone that needs couples therapy. Please pass along our information so that they can get some support.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
And
Chris's number is right there,
Did you put it? Okay.
right there,
Okay.
and your
And
email
the
too.
Just drop me an email.
Yeah.
but also if you see that there's something imminent, like you have stuff that's going on right now, don't hesitate. Now is the time to do this. I think the hardest part of seeking counseling is just making that first call. And because you're in such tight quarters, because you're with your children, there's so much of a load. Now is the time to get support. You never needed support more than you need it now. And if you're not going to do it for yourself, really do it for your children, because your children are going to get the vibe. If you and your husband or you and your partner are fighting, they're going to get that vibe. They don't need that extra stress right now. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your kids, and make that call and connect with Chrisa and with our mental health support staff, and really, really get the help that you need.
We have the message from Max Tuber.
Oh.
Max, he's really struggling because he wanted to have his graduation with family. They're supposed to fly out from the East Coast, friends, spec lab at Asner Family Center, and his school staff, and he's really disappointed that they're having a virtual graduation. And this is Maxie.
Hi, Max.
This is so many of my friends who and really close loved ones who are graduating, and we got to figure out something that we can all do together and have a special celebration with you. And
we need to have another prom.
Well,
yeah.
I think that I know this isn't going to solve the problem, which is they're not able to graduate with your friends.
And have a party.
But if you think about it, you're going to get through this virtual graduation, and you're going to have a story that will last a lifetime.
Yep.
And you're one of the only people that probably will have to do this, hopefully. And that's something else. It's kind of like being born on leap year, isn't it?
That's true.
It's
a unique anomaly.
It's
but
a unique
also,
situation.
Like Chrisa said, Max is allowed to grieve. This is biggest bummer of his whole life.
Yeah.
And he's allowed to grieve. And all of these kids who are going through this, and it's not just high school. A lot of the college kids are graduating as well, and
elementary.
Yeah.
That's
junior high.
That's not as big of a deal.
Middle
High
school?
school graduation and proms and walking down the aisle and all that. That's a big deal.
Think of all the weddings. That's true. Think of all the
weddings.
People.
I didn't even
Really?
think of that.
2 people that had to postpone until the end
That
of the
would
year.
be a serious bummer.
One of them was April 11th, and it was, and she's younger, and it took a year in the planning, and people were coming from all over the world for this wedding, almost 200-300 people. So it is a lot to grieve. It's okay if you want to feel disappointed. It's okay if you're feeling sad. That we've all lost something, and even on the smallest, fear of or just missing your friends or missing a human connection. I know my mom says, "I really can't wait to hug you." And, so even, our elderly, our grandparents, things.
I haven't seen my mom in 6 weeks.
And you're a hugger. I mean, can you imagine hugging your mom?
Maddie's a hugger. I'm not.
Navah's a hugger?
I thought you.
No. I
give
like
Navah
to hug
hugs.
the kids. I don't like to be touched.
All right.
You can. Oh, sorry. Anyway, that was too
That was
TMI.
maybe a little. Well, you're going to
TMI.
get it all with us.
Yes.
That's right.
I have no filter.
So one last thing I'd like to say is that, and maybe some, you guys are already there. You're there. That these are all really troubling times and uncertain times, right? And so we don't have all the answers. So Matt, that's another thing too. You really want to take that pressure off yourself, like with your kids. You want to do the best that you can. You're not going to have all the answers. You're not going to be able to tell your kids in perfect detail what's going to happen and what the timeline is.
And the same goes with, the majority of the pressure that I'm talking to parents about is feeling like they're not doing everything exactly as they should be doing.
Yeah.
And specifically the online
schooling. Yeah.
And we really relate to that. We have 3 kids in 3 different schools. I mean, well, yeah, three different schools and 3 different online loads. And if I could say a bad word, I would. It's so hard.
Cluster.
It's so hard. And I just, I don't know how the
asterisk,
teachers do
asterisk.
this. I was watching Eddie's teacher, and I can't imagine what she sees on her side with all these kids. And, the majority of them are like Eddie. They have autism and ADHD. And it's like,
well, there's another,
I can't even-
there's another way we can kind of look at this that's a positive spin on this.
And
I know it's
you're
hard.
allowed. You're
I know
allowed
it's
to
hard,
have a positive spin.
But I know
and
it's
to
hard to have a positive spin, because it is hard to have a positive spin, because there's a lot of crap going on
Yes.
that you don't like. But look at these people that are stepping up to the plate and really
Mhm.
hitting home runs. Teachers,
Mhm.
yes.
first responders, doctors.
Mhm.
I mean, it's really impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
these are impressive people, and
There's a lot of resiliency and a lot of strong people out there, and there's a lot of people that are forced into a leadership role, and that's where you have to be really kind to yourself, and you're going to learn so much. One of the positive things here is I always ask my clients, what's the lesson here?
Mhm.
And it's like you said, you can say something. You can say, if I can be positive about it, or there's a positive
Mhm.
takeaway. We're learning about ourselves. We're reinventing life, and we're really we're rising to the occasion, and you might find that you have more strength than you even knew. And like you said, Navah, when you were a single mom with 4 kids, you found resiliency and the resources that you needed. Didn't feel good every day, but you did.
And but again, this is the time when you really want to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first. I always say that to everyone. You can't take care of your kids if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And one of the ways you can be selfish and taking care of your kids is to call us, talk to Chrisa,
Mhm.
get some help. Even if it's just a little respite from your week, you're getting a little support, you're getting some tools. Call and get the help that you need. And even if you don't think you need it, these are times when everyone needs to really get some extra support, because it's really hard. We're all struggling. We're in the trenches with you, and our adult daughter moved back in with us, and
Mhm.
we have the whole dynamic going, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
So everyone just really take care of each other.
Definitely.
And Matt, thank you for being our special guest.
Thank you.
you're very welcome.
You're wonderful, wonderful special guest. I hope you'll come again.
I will come again. It was a delight. It was nice sitting
And
here.
thanks to our
And-
engineer,
and-
Steve.
Hopefully someday soon we'll actually be able to set this up so that you guys can sit next to each other, so I don't feel like I'm
Yes,
co-hosting the show.
in a few weeks.
Yes.
God
Hopefully.
willing.
All right.
So we'll see you next Tuesday.
Take care, everyone.
And next week we're gonna focus on wellness. So join us next week, Tuesday at 3.
And margaritas.
Ooh, we could. Day drinking. See you next time.